Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Gail and this is Nancy Jean. Thanks for joining us today. And we're going to be talking about protection. And Nancy
Mhm.
Jean is basically going to be telling us how to do these and different types of stones and things to do for our protection. We get this question all the time. So,
Yeah, my first question is, what do you want to protect?
yeah. And so we can wait for a few people to come in to see.
Well, while you're waiting, there's one stone I didn't get. You guys have no idea what a morning this has been, but I will be right back with my the stone that's by my front door.
So anyway, let me say hello to the people that are here. Hi, Cody. Thanks for being here. Hey, Anne Murray. Hey, Diane G. Hey, Barbara. Thanks for being here today. It's stormy here on the East Coast, and my internet has been going in and out a little bit. So if I disappear, it's due to the weather around here. And hey, Akila, thanks for being here today. And let's see who else is here. Um, oh, it's not it's not sliding down. Hey, Michelle, thanks for being here today. Oh, thanks, Akila. Yes, my new hair. I think I'm getting used to it. So thank you. Hey, Kendra, thanks for being here. Hey, Amy. Hey,
I'm
Prince.
back, Dr. Gill.
Okay. Hey, Rose Blue. Hey, Emmy J. Hey, White Dragon. I have not looked at your video yet, White Dragon, but I will. I'm working on something that I've got. I'm time sensitive right now, and I will get to it. But let me just pull you up here. Hello, everyone. Please set all questions in all caps. Thank you to help out the gals. Like and subscribe. Also, it's free to like and subscribe. Yes, thank you. You always watching, making sure I get everything done. Hey, Diane G. Hey, Patricia Hernandez. Hi, Julie. Thanks for being here today. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Ness. Leona, thanks for being here. Lauren, thanks for being here. Good to see you and the galactic community. Hey, Teresa. Oh, there's a simple life. That sounds good. A simple life.
Yes, they're out of my channel.
Yeah. Hey, Liz Daly. Hey, Pamela Anderson. Hey, Julie. Hey, Suzanne. Thanks for being here today. Thanks, Rose Blue. I'm glad you like my hair. We were talking about it. The new hair.
Gorgeous. I didn't realize your hair was traditionally curly.
Yes.
It's very nice. My hair doesn't have the decency to be one or the other. It just sort of decides what part of the head it grows out and what it's going to do.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be talking about protection today because, hey, Jana, thanks for being here. Hey, Kendra, we're talking about protection. Hey, Hypnicity, thanks for being here. But we get questions all the time about protection, and we kind of just touch at it, and everybody, especially people who are new, are not even sure. They're going, why do we need protection? What are we protecting? And that is a good question. And we probably will be addressing some of that. Nancy Jean's going to be really going into about the stones and things. Hey, Emmy J, thanks for being here. And so I guess we've got quite a few people. We've already got 38 people in. So I guess we can go ahead and get started, Nancy Jean.
Good.
On that. So where do you want to begin on this subject? You put a nice little write up in your announcement, and so that was good. Amy saying, Nancy, you look marvelous today.
Oh, thank you. I look hurried. I look rushed.
I like the top that you're wearing.
Oh, this is two cats.
Oh, is it?
It's two cats hugging each other. Yes.
And
I get a new kitty sweat. I now have 3 kitty sweaters.
oh, do you?
One each. I get one each winter for myself. Yeah. And I'm putting this one on today because our high today is going to it started out in the low 40s and it's not getting much better. You're having bad winds with rain, right? In the east.
Yeah. We're having the same weather you had the other day.
Yeah, we had that. We had hurricane level winds about 4 miles from where I live that were knocking down houses and fences and trees and things. I didn't hear it. It came through at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is that's a big time for storms to come through Texas. Don't ask me why. And but I did have a leak show up in a place where there was never a leak, and I live on an extension of the condo, and we figured out it was because the winds were so severe. When I opened up the door the next day to see how bad the winds had been, I live in a condo and there's a long alley behind me, and everybody's trash cans are out there. All their trash cans had blown down the alley and were up against the fence. All of them, even the big ones. But fortunately, they'd taken all the trash out, so that wasn't so bad. So and last night we had tornadic winds that brought in dust from West Texas, and I haven't seen a legitimate dust storm for almost 30 years, and they're really horrific. Rain may be bad, but man, dust, you just don't go out in it.
Yeah.
And everything outside of my house is skimmed with. It's like you want to go get a giant sweeper thing and take care of it, but.
Well, thank goodness Prince Charming's mom says we're having a blizzard. Thank goodness that's
You
not.
can keep your blizzards, and there's somebody in Minnesota that's having a blizzard. My son's in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the blizzard went below him. And you want to see a Texas boy happy, tell him the blizzard's 30 miles south. He's really
Yes. Well, hey, Lisa, thanks for joining us today. Hey, Hypnicity, hey, Seascape, thanks for being here. Dream Journey One. Thanks everybody for joining us today. And we are going to start on protection. And Nancy Jean is going to have the floor here, or the stage, or whatever you want to call it.
I'm here. I'm here with my stuff. The reason I dashed away, if you ever watched this from the beginning and you came in late, this is a tourmaline, and you can see if you look at it, it's like shafts. It's got little poles. Tourmaline can be everything from this black. There's blue tourmaline, and there's also this is tourmaline. I don't know if I can get it out. I have a whole bunch of stones over here. This is tourmaline. This is called watermelon tourmaline, and I have this on a necklace and on a ring. And tourmaline's a great protector. It doesn't matter whether it's black or pink or any of the other various colors you can see tourmaline in. I used to wear tourmaline around my neck when I read, and it's a tourmaline, the little tourmaline chip. There's a tiny, tiny chip, and I have no idea what it is. It was given to me by a fabricator, that little blue thing that you can see. It looks almost like a leaf on this, and a big malachite. I used to wear this when I read at table. Yeah, it's called watermelon tourmaline. It's the other thing it's called.
Yeah, I have earrings that are watermelon tourmaline.
Yeah, and they're beautiful. They're beautiful, and they're great protection. They protect your heart. And I used to wear these when I read because the malachite's another protection stone that sort of filters out the bad guys and keeps them off you. And I just put this little leaf with it because I just love it so much. It's the truest blue I've ever seen in a crystal. It's some kind of copper.
Yeah,
all tourmalines that aren't black are rare.
Yeah, she's saying blue tourmaline. Blue tourmaline is rare.
Yeah, it's really rare. So anyway, but this little sucker is at my front door. It's hanging on a mail rack. That's where you put your keys, which we don't have anymore since everything's on punch button. But
yeah,
these are the old things from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But it hangs up there and it sits in my door, and it's a guardian stone. If you can, and it's a really good guardian stone. And then just beyond the tourmaline, this is my Weight Watchers activity for the day. This is another stone that sits beneath my TV, and it's a clear stone. It's beautiful, and it's a calcite. It's white calcite, and it weighs 1 ton. And it's just beyond where the doorway is, and it's to guide in the good light. And that's how I've got my front room set up. So for those of you who wonder what happens when you live in a house with a psychic, your kids get used to. I have all these things up and away where no one's going to get their toes broken by them. So those are one's for protection, to protect me from dark stuff coming in. And people say, why do you use a dark stone? To protect you from dark stuff, because it absorbs it. And there are some stones. I periodically get that tourmaline down, and it's hard enough you can soak it in water. So I put that one in water.
All right, I want to ask, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to know about tourmaline. I know we have the polished tourmalines, and the black tourmaline looks like it comes like it, whatever you were saying, almost like it's separated, like separated.
It just came out of a shaft. This is created in a volcanic shaft. And when you look at this, you can see it was created in a volcanic shaft, and then whatever happened, it all kind of froze and crystallized together. So it's a family.
Oh, well, this is a good question. Okay, so then what about the watermelon tourmaline or the pink tourmaline? Because I have the watermelon tourmaline. How is that created?
Same way, just different chemicals that are in. There's a base. Okay, if you're looking at stones that are different colors, you want to talk about stones that can be different colors. And if it's here, it's here. As if not, I don't know what I did with it. I had it out the other day.
So Nissy's saying, so is it lava?
Yes, it's like it's equivalent of lava.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about obsidian? Because obsidian.
So obsidian is just lava that cools so quickly it becomes glass. This is my rainbow.
Oh my gosh, we lost Nancy Jean. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised. I thought it would be me going out instead of her. So anyway, here she's already back.
We got blown away.
Yeah.
Apparently the guardian stones don't like being talked about. This is my piece of rainbow obsidian. And if you take this out, I don't know if you can see it if I can get it in the thing right, but you can kind of see little rivers of lighter color in that. If you take this out in the sun, it looks like it has rainbows in it. But obsidian is just lava that comes up and cools so quickly it doesn't even have time to crystallize. And that I showed you black obsidian. This is sky blue. This is obsidian.
Oh, that's pretty. That's obsidian. Oh, that's beautiful.
And this is green.
I have so much obsidian from Mount Shasta. Because there you could just go walk around and pick it up.
I know. And this is green obsidian, and it assists in the healing of wounds and traumas, promotes a loving relationship. You can find these if you in blue. This is I have blue. This is navy blue.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And it's enhances communication skills, blocks negativity, which makes sense if you think with blue throat chakra.
I don't think I've seen navy blue on any other stone. I mean, I've seen the different color blues, but not navy blue.
Yeah, they call this indigo.
Indigo, okay.
Mm-hmm. And this also knocks down closed doors. This is blue obsidian, and it helps us. It helps you get closer to your spiritual goals. That's what it's been traditionally used for. And then this one was the one that amazed me. I'd never seen a stone that was exactly this color, yellow.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like a good urine test, guy.
Yeah, looking at it from here, it looks clear.
Yeah. It helps break down barriers, opening up, close. No, that's the wrong one. Whoops. Well, got to read the right sheet. Okay. I don't want to
there's several people saying Pauline has a rainbow obsidian.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Purple. And Patricia's saying she has a blue obsidian. She used to, she has it sitting on her selenite at the base of her computer.
And this is one, if you're afraid to go after your true path, this will give you the confidence. It works like a solar plexus. They relate somewhat to the chakras colors. And I happened to walk into a rock shop in Denver 3 years ago. And they had just gotten a shipment of obsidian in, and they were just separating out the different qualities. They all came from one volcanic area, but the minerals that were entering into the basic basic goo, the colors that was different. And you kind of need to go to a dealer that you think you can trust. And I had checked them out, and this wasn't somebody who made things up. Another stone,
Here's Pamela. You always tell everybody this. Is there a good app for identifying stones?
Yes. Stone identifier. If you have an Android, that's what I use. And I actually keep it on my phone because sometimes telling aquamarine from apatite from amazonite is tough. It will do it. I mean, I've tested it out. Sometimes if you're standing in the rock store and you're looking at things and you're going, is that really that? I go to a place where they really know their stones. They've been doing it for over 40 years. But if you're in a new stone shop and you think that the person who's actually working with you behind the counter might be stoned, you have your own way to identify. And I don't think people purposefully do that to us. I think they just tell us the myth they know. This is my oldest crystal that I own, and it's it's smoky quartz and clear quartz.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
You can find those in Arkansas, and it has a true point. That's not a man-made point. That's a true point. Points are important for if you. I did a show one time called Crystal Chaos, and it was what stones to not put together. Mm-hmm. And in your bedroom, you don't want to put a lot of real good sleepy rose quartz, big, chunky things. And they don't have to be big and chunky, by the way. But you don't have to put a big chunky thing in with something with a whole bunch of real pointy stones, because the points on those stones in the night are pointing at your third eye in your bed. So think about it. You're inviting in things to wake you up. Why would you want to do that? This is a quartz. Can you see that teeny little, looks like a teeny
little thing? Yeah. Okay.
And this is a quartz. Okay. There is no difference in the energy between these two. If you need a quartz, this one will do it as well as this one.
The quartz is what I use like on the Solaris Healing Center to clean out people.
That's very good because it's a neutral. Some of these others are better at healing one thing than another. Mm-hmm. And I think if you stick to the neutral, selenites are another group that's really good. Here's a selenite if you haven't seen it. This is a crapped out selenite, and this is my lesson to people. Don't put all stones in water. This selenite is made from salt, and even a little water exposure will, when this one had been all polished up and nice, now it looks like a rabbit chewed on it. So what do you, I asked Dr. Gail, what do you want your crystals to do? If I have a thing here, I've had it for years, and it's a little crystal that was cut out into the shape of a heart. Mm-hmm. And into it, I put a key that I put on to always remind me I should hold on to a key to open things in my life, to be ready for things to open. I don't know why Fang's in there, but he's in there. And then I have tiny little bit of amber, which is to remember my ancestors. Amber, petrified wood are both ancestor stones because they're where the minerals replace something that actually lived at one time.
Yeah, I have petrified wood that rides in my car all the time because when I was going from South Carolina to Mount Shasta, I hit a deer. I know everybody probably already knows that my car was totaled. I had that, and nobody was hurt. My dog, my cat, there was no scratches and then nothing.
Didn't do a lot for the deer.
Didn't do a lot for the deer. Didn't do a lot for the car. It was totaled. Mm-hmm. But that petrified wood, I felt like everything was protecting us, but I've also felt that petrified wood was protecting. And so I, I've not taken it out. I've left it in. When I got a new car, I put that petrified wood back in there. And I don't know that I'll ever take that out of my car. It'll be always my protection in my car.
Mm-hmm. And in my little dish is not petrified, but it's some green calcite, a little piece of green calcite. And then a whole bunch of this is like the world's palest amethyst, but it is, if you see it in real life, it's purple on the end. That's amethyst. And then I put a whole bunch of chunky little quartz crystals. That one just escaped and is on the floor now. That'll be fun when I step on it. And then I have a piece of kyanite. And kyanite's for direction and connection. And then on top of it all, I have a really pretty little, this is supposed to be silver, guys. I don't have any polish. This is silver, and it's got two little rose things on it. And it's actually a pin that a friend gave me. And I put that in the center, and that is to protect my peace. So your protection doesn't always have to be bad guys. You can put it in any kind of bowl. Somebody said they put it in a Tibetan bowl. Crystal bowls are good. You can put them in wooden bowls. You can put in whatever you've got. And by the way, Carl, if you have a rose quartz that's points, because of the mineral that gets into quartz that makes it rose colored, rose quartz does not make natural points. There is one place in the world where it does, but I doubt if that's, I mean, I'm not questioning you, but I don't think it's like some very exotic place in South America. If you have rose quartz points, they're fine, but they're man-made.
Okay.
And you don't want those pointing at your third eye either. You just don't want little pointies. Just think about it. When you put it in the room, though, that's going to be pointing my head at 3 a.m. Yeah. Not a good idea. I did it. Okay. So you can take, and some stones are truly hyped. And one stone everybody hears about is moldavite. And I have a friend and actually she's starting a shop with 2 guys in Florida. And they will take crystals you want and make them into pieces of jewelry you want. And this is the one she made for me. And the very top is a geode. This is a piece of real moldavite. Now, she's been working with gems and stuff for so long. If that's moldavite, it's real moldavite. She knows where it's coming from. She's got rose quartz. It's this little bead right here. This one's an amethyst. And that one is it's similar to the big giant quartz I showed you that was black, that was smoky and clear. She built this necklace for me 3 or 4 years ago. It's Alma, the lady who designed my garden, but she built this necklace for me, and I am just I wear it when I read. Like, I also wear this when I read out. I don't read outside my house much anymore, so I don't have much chance to wear them.
She's saying she loves her moldavite trio with Herkimer and Tektite. I can't imagine how strong that is.
Herkimer's, yeah, it's Herkimer. That's the clearest quartz we have. They're called Herkimer diamonds. Mm. But moldavite and quartz, and the thing that's the powerhouse on this, and most people sort of miss it, that teeny tiny little geode in the middle, that's right up at the top. Uh-huh. That's a geode. And what geodes do is they take the energy that's around them and they bounce it out. And that geode is bumping up against a moldavite. Some people can't wear moldavite. It makes them sick.
I can't.
Cash Peters can't wear moldavite.
Yeah, I have moldavite, but I keep it like distance away from me.
Mm-hmm. Moldavite's, and it's interesting because you deal with the little guys. I went and actually tried to look because I thought it might come up, knowing you're following, what stones can protect us from bad aliens. And there isn't any. I mean, we don't know of any.
Well, I think we need to go into just why do people need protection? And because we have some new people here, and they're wanting to know, what are we talking about protection? Why do I need to be protected? Why do I need to be protected? Mm-hmm. I think we need to help them along with answering some of those questions, which you're really good at.
It's not just protection. Sounds like there's a spiritual mafiosa coming to get you. Yeah. And to some extent, that's true, because when you're a clear light, and they've been in darkness for a while, they'll come and attach to you. And I just got so used to, I put an egg around myself every day when I wake up, and I can see out and it reflects out. So anything that is bad that wants to get in can't get in. I still keep all the stones around me and stuff, but and what is it? It's energy that does not have your good in mind. It's energy that wants to take from your energy. It's energy that wants to take the centeredness you have and knock you off your feet. And we've had the unfortunate history, especially in Western culture, of having our faiths turn them into demons and turn them into ghouls and turn them into, and some things may approach you like certain ghosts. They just want to get the hell out of here, and they're looking for any, can you help me?
Yeah.
But this is one of my better ghost stories. We're gonna get a ghost story, yeah, Dr. Go.
Yeah, I have, I have a lot. I have the high maintenance ghosts.
Yeah, but your ghosts my ghosts are like, they just happen to wander upon me on the right day. I had been, it was Halloween. It was before COVID, and I got hired by Mike. And he had an incredible loft in a place called Southside in Dallas. And Southside on Lamar used to be the main Sears warehouse west of the Mississippi, if that gives you any idea how big it was. It's like 4 city blocks long and 5 stories high. And it had railroad tracks that ran to it. It was a very, very busy place. But when it got abandoned in the 70s, they just used it to store old tires. So there were 5 stories of old tires in this place. And people would come in, homeless would come in at night, they'd break in, and they'd want to just get warm. And a lot of them died in between the tires. And I guess they just had a morgue wagon there the whole time they were emptying the place, because there's so many mummified people in this place. And the reason I kind of knew about that story, trust me, they did not make that public. I knew about that story was when we ran Obama's program in 2008, we were in the basement of this building. And I would go there and I'd be fine when I got there, but by the end of the day, I would be dragging. And my doctor wrote it off to maybe it was mold, because it was an old building. A lot of other things, but we could never figure it out. So I ended up running the campaign half the time out of my house and half the time out of the building, because it was making me, I just thought it was like an allergy or something. Well, I went to work his party, and he was on the 4th floor. Beautiful place. And this guy does Halloween like nobody you've ever seen. I went into the bathroom to use the bathroom, and it had the shower curtain pulled, so no one would decide to go take a shower. And I, turned the light on. I was sitting there in the toilet. All of a sudden, the lights went out. A light went on in the bathtub, and the curtain rolled back, and there was a skeleton in there. I mean, that was one little part of this guy's apartment. He had the wildest. He had a whole storeroom where he kept all his Halloween stuff for his Halloween parties. And I was supposed to read for 5 hours. I was supposed to come about 7 and leave at midnight. Well, I got there about 6 because I wanted to park right by the building. And as soon as I sat down, I started reading, and I left at 2:30.
Wow.
It's the longest I've ever read, and it's without hardly, except getting up and getting the crap scared out of me in his bathroom. And so Mike came up to me and said, well, I'll walk you to the elevator, because he had to go down and go down and go down and go, because it's an old warehouse. And I said, it's okay, Mike. I can walk there by myself. And he said, okay, and so I was walking in. It is an old converted warehouse. It has the open pipes above and the wooden floors from the 1800s that were put in that place when it was built in the 1890s. And I'm walking along, and I hear footsteps behind me, and I thought, oh, Mike decided to follow me, or somebody else follow me out. I turn around, there's nobody there. So I go, that's not good. So I start walking faster, and walking faster for me is a big deal. So I'm walking faster down the hallway. And just before, as I turn off this hallway to go to the elevator, I hear this plunk like water falling, condensing from a pipe and hitting. I had on a big witch's hat. It's the last witch's hat I ever wore. I had a big witch's hat on. And I heard the water clunk. And I got to the elevator. As soon as I got in the elevator, I ripped that hat off to look for the water spot. There wasn't a water spot. So I managed to drive home, and which wasn't really all that far from there. And I went to bed that night, and I left the witch's hat in the car. I got in the house, went to bed, got up the next day, went to do readings the next day on a Sunday. And then that whole week, everything in my apartment was weird. Everything was weird. So finally, Friday night, I'm getting ready to go to Dolly's the next day. I go to sleep, and I wake up, and it was that ghoul from The Hauntings, the one with the black goes, and he grabbed my arms. And now this has got to be one heavy duty spirit, because I had a wall of crosses in my bedroom at the time. Now I figured, this guy. So anyway, I managed to say the Lord's Prayer, and it sprang off of me. And I don't ask me how, I went back to sleep and got up the next morning and got ready to go to Dolly's. And I kept feeling something push me from behind. So I lived in a building with an elevator. I was getting into the elevator, and I had my glass of iced tea, and something pushed me so hard I spilled the tea in the elevator. And then I realized there's something in the apartment, and it's up there. So my daughter, Casey, was living with me at the time, and I called her from the car, and I said, "Honey, do you know where I keep the sage?" And she said, "Yeah, why?" And I said, "I think you might want to sage the apartment." And she went, "What's going on?" I said, "I'll explain to you when I get home." You don't want your mother to be a psychic. And so she saged the whole place out under the cabinets, and she figured out it was in my bathroom. In the back of this one cupboard is where it had been hiding for the week, because she really felt it leave. And she said, that's the only week that when we lived in that high rise, it's the only week that my cat ever tried to run out the front door.
Yeah.
Watch your pets, guys. Yeah. So I go around all the time reading and doing all this stuff, but I was tired. I was overly tired. I was not keeping my boundaries up, and it crept in. So you say, what do you need protection from? Yeah. So, I guess I tell everybody, have some sage or have some holy water. By the way, I did go back to see Mike for his Christmas party, but I took a spray bottle of holy water with me, and I sprayed it the whole way down the hall. And this guy said, "What are you spraying?" And I showed him, and it says holy water on it. He said, "What are you?" And when Mike got there, he said, "Oh, I'm so glad you came, because I wasn't sure you'd come back." And the guy, apparently Mike told him a story, and the guy said, "You came back here?" I said, "I had my holy water,
Yeah, so even when I'm doing a show, I'm spraying my area before I start. I have a candle lit that's sage. I'm doing rituals, I think, which a lot of readers are doing for that reason, because you're opening yourself up for whatever else might want to come in and attach. So you have to have some kind of protection around you, especially if you are reading or you're being exposed to a lot of different energies out there.
We have to invite it in.
Yeah. So anyway, I have 12 questions starred. You want to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let's do the questions.
Okay, let me go ahead and pull those up. Let's see. Barbara, how does one get rid of what seems to be lifelong fear? That's a good question. And I will go in more details about that. Exactly, Barbara, is there something specific that you're afraid of, or is it just in general you're afraid of everything? Because I see different fears, like is fear of just being around, or like I remember my best friend in high school, she had the biggest fear of slides, going down a slide. So, so Barbara, can you narrow in general? She's saying in general, it's an in general fear of, I guess, of everything.
Well, Barbara, I can tell you from my experience, My lifelong fear was to be alone. I actually almost neurotically could not be alone. And that's with everything I knew about reading and stuff. But even as an adult, I would I would get up in the morning, take care of my kids. I'd get in the car. The only time I was really ever alone was in my car going to work. Then I'd be with people all day. Then I'd pick the kids up. Kids and I would be at home. We'd do our stuff that we needed to do. They'd go to bed. I'd be on the phone with friends. I was never alone. I grew up in a family of 5, and it was kind of hard to be alone when you're in a boomer family of 5. Even though we had a big house, it was hard to be alone. But finally, one point, I was given the grace by the universe to have a moment where I walked through and I saw my place in the universe. I saw the whole universe. I saw how it's all put together, and I felt intense peace. And what I heard in my head was, "You're never alone. You've always been connected to everything."
Well, it's like a lot of people here have that same issue. Ness, Seascape, everybody's kind of joining in, saying they have those same issues. So I think I agree with you, Nancy Jean. When you realize that you have your spirit guides, your people around,
Mhm.
for some reason, that is so comforting that you are never alone and that they're always around. And she's saying she's alone too much. So, Barbara, again, are you connected with your spirit guides or your angels? Because to me, sometimes I am alone too, but sometimes I feel like it gets crowded because I have so many of them show up and wanting to give me information or talk or whatever. But I don't ever feel alone because I have all of them with me.
Well, and some of the lifelong fears are part of shadow work,
Hmm.
which is and what makes you afraid is there's a sesquisextile. It's on an astrologic chart. But anyway, it's where the planets can't, where you are in the solar system, some planets doing something, and it's like over your shoulder. No matter how you turned your neck, unless you're an owl, you'll never see what's going on there. And those are it's like something, it's there, but um you can't break away from the feeling that something's there. And that's the stuff we were talking about yesterday about with Jeffrey's book about working with shadow work.
Hmm.
That's one way to do it, is to try and to find out. I was very aware by the time I was given the grace to see my way past that it was fear of being alone. That was my biggest fear. And I had no fear of leaving home, man. 18, you put super glue, I'd have walked out of those shoes, man. I
Well,
was
I'm with Suzanne here. Being alone is my comfort zone with Suzanne. So we're like totally opposites.
mm-hmm. But and is there a stone to help you not be alone? All of the stones I've ever owned, and I own a ton of them, literally, um, have taught me something about life, have taught me something about what I needed to look in my life. This stone
Well, so
kind of looks
yeah.
like a brown stone. See
Mhm.
all those layers? Those layers are the earliest form of microorganism that ever lived on the earth. This thing's like 1 billion years old. And let's see, was it? It's called a stromatolite, and it's a beautiful stone when you look at it and you realize the artistry that the planet had to put that together. But those suckers, it never stops. The fact you've been here, I mean, these were little microorganisms, and we have a way, it's been recorded and we know it's here. So I think part of being alone used to be part of the fear of, when I stop, I stop. And I don't have that fear either.
Yeah, well, Diane G, I think this is interesting. Being alone is a common fear in Arcturians and beings who are used to being a part of a collective. That could be true, Diane, but I am myself, an Arcturian hybrid or human hybrid, and and that's who I'm related to, the Arcturians. But I don't. I like being alone, but as I said, I never feel alone because I feel like I am connected to that collective all the time. They're with me,
Mm-hmm.
so I never do feel alone. So Kinder, my children forced me out of my comfort zone for sure.
Yeah, well, they're a lesson in where the end of your nerves are.
And I saw White Dragon because we forgot to go into the color black, which we have talked about before as protection color, which it was a few Saturdays ago when we were doing the color therapy, which I do about once a month now, talking about the color black. And black was the color that, in fact, they were showing me, because I put myself in a bubble also every morning to protect myself throughout the day. And they were showing me to cover that bubble with black. And you had an interesting thing about black, using the color black also, Nancy. Can you go into that a little bit more? You were, okay, when you heard me talking about the angel that I saw that had black on the wings.
Oh yeah, if you can get a hold of illustrations from the Kabbalah Tarot deck, it's Justice, I think. It has rainbows of light all around it, and then there's a big, thick black band around the form of the angel, and then in the inside, it looks like a picture of an angel. And in the Kabbalah, black, well, it's not just Kabbalah; it's in Chinese.
I think it's interesting. Doesn't black have every color within it? I think you're right, Hypnicity.
No, it's white that has every color in it. Black absorbs or deflects. It doesn't hold any of the other colors, I think. But yin and yang, somebody go look that up. It's been a long time since I took color theory.
Yeah, somebody would Google that for us just to make sure.
Black, and when you see the yin and the yang, and there's a little comma that looks black and a little comma that looks white, and they're interconnected, and they're swimming around each other.
Well, Patty's agreeing with you. She says white has all the colors.
Right. I always assumed that the white was the feminine and the black was the masculine. Tells you what culture I grew up in. But it's actually the opposite. In that philosophy and in that understanding of universe and color, black is the feminine, and because it's the protector. It absorbs everything and takes it away. Whereas the masculine is the assertive color that puts everything out. I do know white, I know, is the color that absorbs all colors. So
yeah.
That's why a white rainbow that's why white light can make a rainbow. Black light can't make a rainbow. Black light can find colors that you can't see otherwise.
Okay, I'm seeing Ness saying, and maybe, there it is. I was going, what about that question? Ness, question, Dr. Gail, am I pushing out a writing project this year? How will people feel when reading it? I'm only laughing, Ness, because, I've been writing a book for 100 years. So you want to know, we both read on that, both of that. So
I read on Ness 2 days ago. Ness needs to let it go. It's done.
Is she doing the writing project? Yeah. Is she pushing it out? Yeah.
She's got a writing project done, and she doesn't want to believe it's done. Some part of her doesn't want to let it go.
Okay, the part of it that she doesn't want to let go is how will people feel when they're reading it, and how will people react? Will they react? So those are questions, because Ness, I'm in the same situation with what I'm writing about, my going up in the spaceship, learning how to fly a spaceship. I'm in the same shoes as you are, going, how are people going to react to this? And let's kind of read on that. She's saying it's 75% done. Okay, so let's see about that.
No, that's what her thing is, Dr. Gail. I have read on Ness
a
lot because I have sympathy for it, because I used to write plays and produce things like that when I was in high school. Of course, when you're in high school, you're so dumb you don't know how bad criticism can get. But I don't think there's going to be criticism. Actually, when we read on it with Terry, we saw that she needs to let it go. It's her own fears. That's all.
I'm getting only good things about this Ness. I'm just getting yeses that it's going to be well received. And the first thing I got, what I'm seeing is that people are going to look at it and go, and then sit and think about it. And they might reread it, and then they get it. but it will be at first a hum. I'm wondering about this, but you're going to have it's going to be good.
No, there's someone out there. There's someone out there that's ready for this piece. But they can't see it till you let it go.
Yeah. So there you go, Ness. So quit hesitating. That's a message for me too. So I really can't say anything negative about that, but
no, there's nothing negative about it. It's let it go. I mean,
yeah.
She's like, well, that's easy for you to say.
Yeah, I'm talking about myself too.
Oh, I know.
She's bringing it up. Let's see, what's White Dragon saying here? Protection, laugh out loud. Without, and you'll be running for the hills screaming.
I don't know. I don't know who you play with, White Dragon. I don't want to go in that playground.
That's probably you, or people who are dealing with the things that you're dealing with, because you're dealing with a lot of different things. Doctor, can you show how the eggs bought from Nancy Jean? Can you share how you use the eggs bought from Nancy Jean? Well, that's a great question. Do you want to go into that, Nancy? Because we haven't talked about your eggs in 100 years. Well, I keep saying 100 years. Probably in at least a year, and it's because she's not selling them anymore.
Well, I'm not okay. I am not in the process of putting them out right now because I have enough just getting me from here to there at this point. The eggs, there's a heart egg that's used for meditating with or looking at or working with your heart chakra, and it has bluestone sodalite in it.
Well,
sodalite's in the throat. It's green. It's got the green stones in there, and it's on the symbol for the heart. And the way I told people to use it is take it home, meditate with it, look at it, hold on to it, put it in a place where you look at it every day. I had one guy who got one of the original set of 20 eggs that we made, and he called me up and he said, "It's a portal to other dimensions. You need to talk about that." And I said, there is no way in God's good earth I'm going to go tell people, buy this and you'll have a portal to another dimension.
Well, that's not how it worked for me, because I've got the throat chakra and I felt like it opened my throat chakra up.
It's supposed to open up your heart. It's supposed to open up your throat. I have all 7 chakras designed as well as the elementals, the earth, wind, water, and fire. And the problem is when I first got bids on what it was going to take to do this, and I had a lot more money than I have right now, and I had people willing to do it. Well, some people burned through a little bit of my money, not much. I stopped that. And I do have a company in Wisconsin that has I bought little crystal chips for them to put in them. And but they have to make so many at a time because they're acrylic. And so I had a bunch of people who told me, we really, really, really want to have your eggs. Tell us how to use them. And I made a group of them, and I think I sold the last one 3 months ago. So that's a lot. I'm 75 years old. I'm retired. Alma, the lady who I was talking about that's making this jewelry, those guys are looking at potentially making something using the same idea. It is a marvelous meditative tool. It's not great for me right now because every time I look at them, little flames come out of my eyes. But for other people, they really do work. If you own one, it's a very valid tool. The crystals in there are locked in there, but they're not. Their energy still works. You understand that all crystals are put together at a very, very basic crystalline level to have certain vibrations. So certain crystals will work better for things or for motivations than others. But actually, most crystals in the world are quartz. This is a citrine. This is a real citrine. This is not a made in the oven. Citrine and amethyst are really the same stone, but citrine got hotter during the time it was being made. I mean, down to the point that it's the same mineral in there. This is a real citrine. I got this when I first started reading at table regularly because it attracts money. That's it. And in medieval times, you would never go in a store or a place that conducted business that did not have citrine in them.
Okay, we have to answer this. Help Teresa. How can I protect while sleeping? Last night, drink poison snakes sent to attack me. Saw a person with angry face. Whoa, wow, Teresa.
Okay. I'm going to go to the Bible. And these are books y'all can get, and they're cheap. Judy Hall, Crystals. And she breaks them down. Let's see if I can find sleep. I'll go to her rather than, I can think of several things, but she may have one that's more tried and true. You also can Google stuff on the internet. It has, and right now they're telling you if it's a real article or if it was generated by AI.
Well, I think, you want to see if this not only protect her while sleeping, what you're going into, but let's see if this thing is still around her, this poisonous snake, and was it sent to her by this person to attack? Of course, it always is to let your light, dull your light, and not your
Right.
shine out. And I'm getting a yes on this, Teresa, that this,
Something's trying to,
and it was not, I'm getting that it was not successful entering your field. It was not successful.
because she remembered it.
Because you are protected. And I'm seeing it's almost like it's your guides that protected you from this thing, that they interfered, but it was sent to dull your light, and it was not successful. So you can thank your guides for protecting you on that.
Right. It says, this book said that for shielding, which is what you want, because they're sending it into your area. Shielding can be done with black tourmaline. It deflects negative energies, protects against geopollutants, EMFs, radiations, turns back anger, ill wishing, or an attack, increases your physical vitality. And I don't want you to go spend a ton of money on stones, but there's a stone called labradorite, which is also very good at cutting them off at the pass.
Well, in my bedroom, I have a box full of protection stones that I have in there, and they just stay in there all the time. But I do have my guys protecting me too, that they ward off a lot of things. But it's going to happen more and more with the people, because we are showing, our lights shining bright, and we're going up to the 5D or back and forth between 5D and 3D. And so they're trying to bring us back to 3D. They're trying to prevent us from doing that.
They're trying to get you to live in fear.
Right. And to feed off that energy of fear.
Mm-hmm. And the other stones you can have in your bedroom, and they will keep you grounded to your own reality because you place them there, is amber, which you can get, which is tree resin that's fossilized. And
okay, Barbara's new to this, and she's not familiar with shadow work. So we can go into just a little bit about that, because you've been talking about that on your show for the past week with Jeffrey about shadow.
Jeffrey's a person I read with frequently, Jeffrey from Ripe Color. He's created a handbook, and you can download it. It's like $15. It's a digital format. And I'm going to show these crystals, then I'm going to discuss Jeffrey.
Well, I'm looking at Teresa. She says she was wrestling with that snake. It tried to bite her, but was unsuccessful.
Wow. Well, I think you're stronger than they thought. Yeah. And keep that in your mind. I got them. This is amber, and it looks like a little piece of orange glass. When you pick it up, that can't be a stone. It is incredibly light. It will actually burn if you put enough, heat. It will melt because it's resin. And this is a piece of petrified wood. They're not ugly. And the way I have these two in my world is I have the little piece of amber sitting on the petrified wood. I combine their energies. those would be good for you for grounding. Jeffrey's book. What is it? Okay. Jeffrey he and I were dealing with a lot of people trying to do shadow work. We were trying to figure out a way to make it work. I teach tarot too. My website's crystaldirections.com. You can go see it. We're starting 2 new classes in April. This grew out of the classes. This is what a sheet looks like. And you can use oracle cards, you can use tarot cards, you can do whatever card you want. And 1 is the first question, 2 is the second, and 3 is the third. And what we suggest is you kind of go through the 39 pages, lay out the cards, look at what they're trying to tell you. If you can find I'm going to look at my shadow buddy. That can be helpful. But we tried these out with the people that were in our tarot class. They liked it so much. We did a whole show on it yesterday. And it's a really fast way you can kind of get at this shadow work. Because used to be, you'd have to go to some seminar, you'd have to pay people literally thousands of dollars for them to tell you what's scaring the crap out of you. I've never understood that mentality, but not how I do it. But if you do this, when you get his workbook, it's virtual. I mean, you can get a hard copy, but if you want it like tomorrow, you can download it off website, ripecolor.com. And after each page, he has a page for you to journal what your thoughts were. And I think that's the most important part, is you start looking at this stuff. Start saying, what is this bringing up in me? And because you're kind of doing it on your own and sitting at home, you can be as brutally honest or as kind to yourself as you want to be,
Well, I wanted to talk about how I came into the shadow work. Mine was from shamanic journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was taught how to do a shamanic journey. And going into shadow work was things that you're having to face that have been in your lifetime that are not probably you're looking at it the right way. Or so I want to give a real simple example of when I went into shadow work. Was I'm going, why at Thanksgiving and Christmas and all these holidays do I overeat so much? Why do I indulge? Now, this is just a little thing about shadow work. So I went in and did quite a few journeys, and journeys are meditations that you bring in. I bring in some animals and things to protect me while I'm going on this journey. And you're going and visiting different areas and finding out what's going on. And it takes me probably about 6 to 8 different type of journeys, and they're only like 20 minutes to discover what is going on and what the root cause of the issue was. Now, the root cause of that journey, well, and as I said, that was kind of a surface journey, was the fact that they just showed me if you're going to pick any kind of addiction, they showed me all these different kind of addictions. It's not so bad. Food is not so bad as one of those. But that's how I found out about shadow work. And so I've used it, and it's just cleaning up kind of the things that are holding you back. And sometimes a lot of it's your family. Why do you react this way with your family? And if you can go and start figuring it out, maybe doing some meditations and putting that intention out there, sometimes the answer will come up, and then you can take care of it, and then it's gone.
Right. And there's another question that came up. Sylvan Butterfly. You wanted to know pros and cons of using regular crystal stones versus crystal skulls. And if you want to use crystal skulls, go for it. I mean, it's whatever you can use to help focus yourself. And I am not an Arcturian that I know of.
Yeah.
I'm who are that? What's that woman that Andromedan?
You're an Andromedan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, but also, there's one. It's time for us to go. So, there's one last question that I thought was interesting, and it was talking about about the stone, a man-made stone versus a stone that they find in the energy, or does it work just as much? Basically, it was a question. I'm hoping maybe I can find that.
Okay. years ago, someone came to me and she had a chance to buy a ruby, and it was what they call an enhanced ruby. In other words, the color of red they used in stained glass windows is exactly the same color of red that's in rubies. And rubies are weak stones. They have lots of flaws in them. So are emeralds, and so are some of the. That's why the diamond is the hardest stone. It doesn't have any. Well, it does, but it doesn't have as much. And so people found there were ways to put color over those stones, and so those have become altered. They have to tell you that when they're selling it to you. I've worked with some opalite, which is opals that are made by man, and when I set them up in grids to reflect energy and to help someone focus and round their energy up and make it work, I've never found a problem with them. But that's opalite. And I've used goldstone, which is another man-made stone. And because it sets off so perfectly, matter of fact, I have a sample of it here. Now we really do need to kind of go because we promised these people we've been holding forever. This is a grid I made for the world. That wasn't pretentious, was it? We made it 3 years ago, and Dr. Gail helped with this. These two stones that match each other across the bottom here, those are gold stones, and I put them on here. And goldstone creates courage, positive attitude, and gently uplifting. And it's to help boost energy. And I married them with a carnelian that's up here. There's a whole nother world, guys, that I live in. So gold, and that's a man-made stone, the gold stones. So I will use them. Yes, I have been around enough. I have emeralds because that's my birthstone. So I actually have some real emeralds, and they're expensive. But I haven't been around many artificial emeralds. But if they're as effective as these others, then go for it. I mean,
so the answer basically is yes. The man-made crystals have the same effects as natural, but you told me in the past that you really had to put your energy or what you wanted it to do and what.
Right. That's true. The thing is that they are actually chemically identical.
Yeah.
So, and that solves it because that means the matrix that your energy is going through is going to be the same. But then the woman bought it. She told me she bought the beautiful ruby ring, and she was glad to know that she was getting it to protect her because I told her she needed to wear ruby or something red all the time. So,
yeah. Actually, I wear a ruby bracelet all the time.
mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks, Nancy Jean, for all the information that you brought forth for us. And I'm sorry, everybody, we didn't get to all your questions. Also, go ahead and subscribe to Nancy Jean's Gardens channel, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, mine too. And what is your next show, Nancy Jean?
It's either Saturday or Sunday.
Hey, son.
It's going to be the one I have that I do on politics, and it ought to be interesting this week. From what I hear, I didn't watch any of the shit show last night, so I don't know what all happened. But I hear for some people who thought it would go very well, it went very poorly. Matter of fact, the Secretary of Commerce today said they're not moving forward with all the tariffs the way they want, that they've been sent to them, which ought to send off a small hailstorm over there. And the Supreme Court says no. If the Congress has effectively given money to things, it has to go there. They can't stop it. So that means that's good. So that's what I will be talking about. We try to talk about the brighter side of politics. It's a stretch.
Okay. So your next show is Sunday then?
It's Saturday or Sunday, but we don't know because Scott he's a grandpa and he's got to go to christenings and things like that. And Andre Carr and I are trying to get together sometime maybe over the weekend. And next Tuesday, for sure, I know at 1:00, I'm doing a great show with a wonderful astrologer. If you've never known an astrologer, you just call. She's great. Her name is Dorothy Morgan. She's the person I call to when I needed to pick an electional date, which date to start my tarot classes in April. I called her up. I said, when's it best for me? And we looked at my chart, and we in about 10 minutes we had it down, which were the two best times. So 16th and the 19th, guys.
Okay. All right, moderators. Thanks for making this a safe place to talk. And my next show will probably be Saturday. And actually, I can't remember what it is, but my next show will be Saturday. All right. Thanks again, and we'll see y'all later. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.